Hey, sixth graders, happy Thursday to you from over here at my house. I'm excited to check in with you guys and to read another chapter of our incredible book. A few announcements for you. First, please remember there will be a vocab exam tomorrow on the Google Classroom, and it is mandatory. We will all be taking it, and the grade will go in Jupyter. Second, there's another grade that I put into Jupyter today, and it is for students after they've checked in with me. One of the instructions on your daily lesson plans for me is to send me a Jupyter message when you finish all of the work. I've only been getting those messages from a few of my friends. Shout out to Haley, shout out to Ryan. Thank you for doing that. I do need to be hearing from all of you. I haven't heard from about 6 of you at all. So Gaines Henderson's, I'd love a check-in from you. Kassir, I'd love to know how you're doing. And a few other of my friends. Layla, please send me a message. Kayla D, please send me a message. But if you don't send me a message by Friday, I'll be entering that grade in as a 0. The last thing I want to remind you to do is to find a way to be creative during your day. There are a lot of cool ideas online about how to make your own Play-Doh and your own clay at home, different things you can do. Yesterday, I was creative by baking some muffins that turned out really, really yummy, and I was able to share them with Mr. Todd and have them for myself as well. So I encourage you to find a way to be creative, to check in with me, and to take your vocab exam tomorrow on Friday. Today, we're going to read the chapter called Stores of No-Sayers, page 179 to page 184. I gave what few flyers Cecile had printed up to Sister Mukumbu. She, Sister Pat, Crazy Kelvin, and the ladies who served breakfast, and everyone else who knew that Anzilla had been arrested. Sister Mukumbu said that we should stay with her until Anzilla was released. It was funny how things changed. If Cecile had been arrested when we first arrived in Oakland, I would have called Pa, and Pa would have made sure my sisters and I were on a plane back to New York. Nothing would have made me happier than to leave Cecile and Oakland back then. But we hadn't gotten what we came for, and we really didn't know our mother, and I couldn't leave without knowing who she was. I certainly didn't want to tell Big Ma that everything she had said about Cecile for the past 7 years was right, that Cecile was no kind of mother and had gotten herself locked up to prove it. It was bad enough to hear Big Ma posing out loud every kind of selfish trouble Cecile was tangled up in. Day in, day out, I would never hear the end of it. And there was no telling Big Ma that Cecile was a freedom fighter, oppressed by the man. Day in, day out, Big Ma would give my ear a hurting over Cecile. No, I couldn't call Pa yet. What if Cecile were released tomorrow? I thanked Sister Mukumbu for her offer and told her as quietly as I could that we were staying with Hirohoto and his mother. I certainly didn't want Eunice and her sisters to know that we were staying at the Woods' house. Although Vanetta promised to keep her mouth shut, I didn't think she could hold it in. Anything to make Janice jealous. Our mother will expect us to be home when they let her out. She won't be too happy hunting around town looking for us if we're not home. Sister Mukumbu said that we would be safer with Mrs. Woods than by ourselves. Sister Pat added, the man is still watching the house. I asked Sister Mukumbu why our mother had been arrested in the first place. She said the police were really after the 2 who had been arrested with her. She also said that our mother helped spread the word by volunteering her printing services. Information is power, she told me, as if we were having a lesson. Keeping the people informed keeps the people empowered. Cecile wasn't exactly like Hirohoto's father, going around spreading the word and telling the truth. She fussed about printing anything other than poetry. I didn't tell Sister Mukumbu that. And honestly, I believed that she said that about Anzilla giving power to the people to make me feel good about seeing my mother being taken away in handcuffs. Crazy Kelvin held up his fist and said, "Stay strong, my black sisters. Hold your heads up." Vanetta gave him the power sign back, but Fern pointed at him and said, "What's wrong with this picture?" He laughed like Fern was a silly little girl. To someone Kelvin's age, she was just that, a silly little girl. To his chuckle, Fern said, "Good boy, Fido," and then she barked, "Arf, arf." Vanetta and I were puzzled by Fern calling Kelvin out like he was a dog and then barking at him. I pulled her away. Fern laughed and hummed her bus song, "I saw something," and clapped her hands. After we practiced being led to freedom by Janice Ankton as Harriet Tubman, Sister Mukumbu announced that we would do community work. We would take Sister Anzilla's flyers out into the community and ask store owners to display them in their windows. Each of us had to present ourselves to the manager or owner. We were to be respectful and clear. Good afternoon. We are from the People's Center Summer Camp and are participating in the People's Rally. We're asking you to help the people of your community by displaying our flyer for the People's Rally this Saturday. Older kids like Eunice and Hirohoto and me also included information about the free sickle cell anemia test, voter registration, free shoes for the poor, supporting Huey Newton, and changing the park's name to Bobby Hutton Park. If store managers said yes, we were to thank them and tape a flyer up in their windows. If they said no, we were to leave just as respectfully as we had come. Heads up high, walking tall, Sister Mukambu said. Hirohoto was up first. He went to St. Augustine's Church and gave his presentation to a priest he seemed to know. Hirohoto had it easy. The priest seemed only too happy to take Hirohoto's flyer. It figured. The church served free breakfasts and gave away bags of food to poor people. They were, as Sister Pat might say, down with the cause, or as Huey might say, carrying the weight. Still, Hirohoto congratulated himself as he rejoined the group. I was supposed to ask Mean Lady Ming, but I knew she would say yes to me. I said, Fern, Mean Lady Ming likes you. Go get her. I followed behind her, but I kept my distance. Fern couldn't remember all of her speech, but what she said was good enough. Good afternoon, Mean Lady Ming. We would like to put the People's Flyer in your window for the People's Rally this Saturday. Free Huey, power to the people. Mean Lady Ming wasn't rankled by the name Fern called her. Her complaints, all in Chinese, sounded just like her complaints about customers who wanted extra duck sauce or a free egg roll. That didn't stop her from taking Fern's flyer and taping it up in the window. Vanetta and Janice Ankton approached the Shabazz Bakery together. Another easy presentation. The bakery had pictures of Malcolm X and Black Power slogans on the wall. It didn't matter to either Vanetta or Janice. They both came out of the bakery waving their arms like home run hitters. Black, white, Mexican, or Chinese. Big stores, little stores. Some shook their heads north and south. Some shook their heads east and west. There were others who, in the middle of our presentations, simply pointed us to the door. In those cases especially, Sister Mukambu praised us for how well we presented ourselves and for how we left, respectfully, with our heads held high. Both Eunice and I went for the harder ones, stores of the no-sayers, places where we weren't guaranteed a listen or a smile. We'd both heard no before, the hardened looks of grown-ups who don't like kids or black people, or kids who are black, were nothing new to us. After Eunice's third no, Sister Mukambu pulled her aside for a little chat. Eunice had a hip-switching way about her walk that would have gotten me talked to good by Big Ma. When the store manager said no, Eunice would say, "Thank you anyway," in the same way that we would say, "Forget you, forgot you," on the playground. Then she would walk her hip-switching walk out of the store. I said that I would go to the Safeway store and find the manager. Surely the grocery store workers had seen my sisters and me skipping through the aisles with our basket. I went up to the manager and I said in my cheeriest voice, "Good afternoon. I am from the People's Center Summer Camp and I buy dinner groceries at this store." I threw that one in there just for good measure. Just as I was telling him about the rally and how good it would be for the community, he said no and something about it being against the store policy. But he did look friendly. He did smile and thank us for shopping at Safeway. I had no hips to swish away with. Instead, my long legs carried me down the produce aisle, past the bread aisle, and out of Safeway. I had been keeping a list of the East-West no-sayers, and I put Safeway on the very top of it. My sisters Cecile and I would eat egg rolls, white rice, bean pies, and fried fish before we spent another penny at the stores of no-sayers. That's right, y'all. Delphine just said that they're going to boycott the Safeway because the Safeway isn't supporting the people. She's getting pretty tough, right? Go ahead onto your comprehension questions and make sure you're answering them. And please remember, send me a message. Vocab quiz coming up tomorrow. Bye, y'all.